Hope your day improves.
It won't.
Not with that fucking attitude.
Next time on Landman.
Embezzlement, insurance fraud, wire fraud.
Cammy's name is on everything.
Let's start with Tommy because, honestly, where else would you start? This man has been the beating heart of Landman since day one. He's the guy who walks into every impossible situation with nothing but his brain, his nerve, and that particular brand of quiet confidence that makes you believe he could talk his way out of a burning building. And in the Season 2 finale, he did exactly what we always knew he was capable of. He didn't just survive getting fired, he turned it into the single best business move of his entire career. While everything around him was collapsing, while MTEX was sinking and Monty was gone and the whole world he'd built for years was crumbling underneath his feet, Tommy was already 3 steps ahead. He had Nate set up CT Oil Exploration and Cattle, walked straight into a meeting with Galino, and came out the other side with $40 million and a brand new company. Just like that. If that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about this man, I don't know what will. But here's the thing. And I really need you to sit with this for a second. That entire setup, the dream team, the perfect roles, the clean structure with Cooper as president and Tommy as VP and Rebecca as COO and everyone exactly where they need to be, it's too clean. It's too smooth. It looks exactly like the kind of thing Taylor Sheridan builds right before he sets it on fire. Think about it. Every single person Tommy cares about is now directly tied to this company. Rebecca, who has fought and clawed and proven herself at every single turn, is now the COO and chief counsel. Nate, who has always been the quiet, steady hand keeping the money straight, is handling the finances. Boss is running the crew. Dale is leading the exploration. Thomas is leading the drilling from wherever he needs to be. And that is precisely why I'm terrified. Because when Taylor Sheridan gives you a moment where everyone is safe, what he's actually doing is showing you exactly who he's about to hurt. He's mapping out the people you love so that when he starts dismantling things, you feel every single piece of it. He did it in Yellowstone. He did it in 1883. He does it every single time, and yet somehow we fall for it over and over again because we want to believe these characters get to win. We want Tommy to have this. We want to watch him build something that's actually his, something nobody can take from him. Something he earned entirely on his own terms. And maybe he does get that. But not without cost. Never without cost. Now let's talk about Galino, because I don't think he's going to stay in his lane as a quiet investor for long. This man didn't put $40 million into a brand new company just because he believed in Tommy's charm. He did it because he saw profit. He did it because he understood that Tommy is the kind of operator who generates returns that most people in this industry can only dream about. But that kind of investor doesn't stay hands-off forever. The moment things get complicated, the moment there's a delay or a dry well or a deal that falls through, Galino is going to want answers. And if those answers don't satisfy him, he's going to want control. $40 million buys you a lot of patience, but it also buys you a lot of leverage. And leverage, in Taylor Sheridan's world, never just sits quietly in a corner. It shows up at the worst possible moment, and it demands to be acknowledged. So the question isn't whether Galino is going to become a problem. The question is when, and how bad is it going to get when he does. And then, there's the business landscape itself. CT Oil Exploration and Cattle is a startup in one of the most brutal and unforgiving industries on the planet. They don't have the infrastructure that MTEX had. They don't have the established relationships, the existing contracts, the safety net that comes with decades of operation. They are starting from scratch with $40 million and a group of incredibly talented people, but talent and money only get you so far when the industry itself is trying to eat you alive. There will be competitors who see this new company as a threat. There will be established players who don't want Tommy carving out a piece of territory they've already claimed. There will be regulatory hurdles and environmental challenges and the kind of logistical nightmares that even the best operator in the business can't always see coming. Season 3 is going to test whether this dream team can actually function as a team when the pressure is real and the stakes are everything they've worked for. And based on everything Taylor Sheridan has ever done, the answer is going to be yes. But not before it nearly breaks all of them first. Let me tell you something about Cooper. This man has been through more in 2 seasons than most people go through in a lifetime, and yet every single time he gets knocked down, he finds a way to get back up. He's not the most polished guy in the room. He's not the most strategic or the most calculated, but what Cooper has, what makes him one of the most compelling characters in this entire show, is that he acts from the heart every single time. He doesn't stop to calculate the consequences. He doesn't run the numbers or think about how something is going to look from the outside. When someone he loves is in danger, he moves, he reacts, he protects. And that instinct, that raw, unfiltered love and loyalty that drives everything he does, is both the most beautiful thing about him and the most dangerous thing about him. Because in Taylor Sheridan's world, loving someone that fiercely doesn't make you a hero, it makes you a target. And Season 2 proved that in the most brutal way possible. Ariana was assaulted. Cooper saved her. He threw himself into that situation without a second thought, because that's who he is. That's who he's always been. And yes, he went too far. Even the most loyal Cooper fans have to acknowledge that. The man who attacked Ariana ended up dead in a back alley. And even though the medical examiner determined that the cause of death was a heart attack and not the beating Cooper delivered, that distinction didn't matter to the people who wanted Cooper held responsible. Because it was never really about justice. Let's be honest about that. The detectives who went after Cooper with that level of intensity, the shady businessman pulling strings from the background, pushing to have Cooper charged with murder, none of that had anything to do with seeking justice for a dead man. It had everything to do with optics. It had everything to do with a powerful man deciding that a body turning up in a back alley was bad for business and bad for image, and somebody needed to pay for that inconvenience. And Cooper, who was just trying to protect the woman he loves, became the most convenient person to blame. Now heading into Season 3, that situation is not resolved. Not cleanly, not in the way that lets you exhale and move on. The charges may have been dropped or paused, but the people behind those charges are still out there. The businessman who was pushing for Cooper to be locked up didn't disappear just because the season ended. These kinds of people don't give up when they hit a wall. They regroup. They find another angle. They wait for the right moment, when you're distracted and comfortable, and convinced that the worst is behind you. And then they hit you from a direction you never expected. And the fact that Cooper is now the president of CT Oil Exploration and Cattle, that he has a title and a position and a public profile attached to Tommy's new company, that doesn't protect him. If anything, it raises the stakes, because now there's more to lose. And then there's the wedding. Ariana and Cooper are getting married in Season 3, and I want to be happy about that. I genuinely do. These two have earned it. They have been through chaos and distance and danger and doubt, and they came out the other side still choosing each other. That is not a small thing. That deserves to be celebrated. But I cannot watch this show and hear the word wedding without feeling a knot form in my stomach, because Taylor Sheridan does not do fairy tale weddings. He does not give you a beautiful ceremony and let you sit in that joy without cost. Weddings, in his world, are almost always a pivot point. They're the moment right before everything shifts, the breath before the plunge, the last image of peace before the story turns dark. So yes, Ariana and Cooper are getting married. And yes, I will be watching with one eye closed, because I am not emotionally prepared for what might happen either before, during, or after that ceremony. Think about where Ariana is right now. She's been through an assault, she's watched the man she loves nearly get destroyed by a legal system that was being weaponized against him. She's finally in a stable position as office manager of the new company, finally somewhere she doesn't have to look over her shoulder every 5 minutes. That stability feels earned and deserved and real. But stability has a way of becoming a liability in this show. The moment you feel safe is the moment you stop watching for the thing coming at you from the side. And Ariana, as much as I love her and root for her, has already proven to be someone that people are willing to use as a weapon against Cooper. She was targeted once. That doesn't mean the people who want to hurt Cooper have stopped seeing her as the most effective way to get to him. And Cooper himself is carrying something heavy into this new chapter. Killing a man, even in the circumstances he faced, even when that death was technically ruled a heart attack, leaves a mark.